I need to view the live. Let me see. Let me grab some of that. Hold on. Are we live? Let me see. Okay, there we go. Let me charge this up too. There we go. Tamericans. That is who we are. That is our kingdom. And that is our nationality. Let's see if we got everything. Let me see. And this joint is delayed on the... Is it? I'm trying to view it. Okay. Wait, why the hell is this thing delayed? This is my... I'm not used to doing lives yet, but we're going to get used to this. And we're going to set this all up. Can I fast forward it? I need to read the chat at the same time. 1 second. Is this on? Okay. There we go. We are the Tamericans. Let's make sure that we got this thing right. Bro, this thing is delayed. We gotta figure this out first. Okay. I believe we good now. Hopefully. And then we should be able to view the chat. There we go. Alright, there we go. Alright, we're gonna put that thing forward. Boom. Okay. That's how we do it. 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 Okay, so the reason why we hopped on here today is because your entire life you have been lied to. Everything that you have been taught about you was something that had to do with African slavery. And if you ask any of your family members, do they have anything to do with African slavery, they will say, where are you getting this shit from? Because we didn't teach you that. So why the hell are you coming up to us with some African ass shit? That's what they were saying. Anybody in your family. And the reason why they're saying that is because none of them comes from Africa. Nor do you. In fact, you actually come from the country that you live in. And the name of this country that you are from is called Tameri. It's right here. The kingdom of Tameri. That's where you come from, the kingdom of Tameri. Now, you might be wondering, why the hell does this shit not say the United States? Because I'm looking at it, I don't see the name United States, but when I look on my phone, it says the United States. But how come, Tassim, how come your map doesn't say the United States? That's because my map is real and their map is fake. Specifically, they just took over your country. They killed all of your ancestors. And then they said, we finna name this country in our children's name. And we're going to rename it to the United States. So that's what they did. And then they said, to support our agenda, we're going to label these motherfuckers as some Africans. And that's what they did. So they labeled all of us as Africans. And all of us are wondering, like, man, I ain't never heard of African in my life. Your grandma, she ain't never heard of no African. She's like, look, where are you getting this from? Because last time I checked, my grandmother, nobody's African. So where is this coming from? This is my Anunnaki. Tay, thank you for being in the chat. I appreciate you. Thank you, my Anunnaki. This is the beginning of all of our streams. We do have to teach our own people. And it all starts off with a physical textbook. I know, because if you look at it, and here's the truth. This is the truth. Many of our people have not created any books. They have gathered a lot of information, and they have got a lot of influence, and then the government took them out. They either put them in jail. We have examples. Larry Hoover is an example. Where's he at? Jail. We have another one, Dr. Malachi York. Where's he at? Jail. We have another one. His name is Jeff Ford. He is from Chicago. Where is he at? Jail. We also have another one. His name is Rashad Jamal. Where is he at? Jail. Now my question is, where's the books? You ever thought about it? Where's the books? You got all this goddamn knowledge. Like, motherfucker, I'm trying to learn some shit. Where's the books at? Where's it at? I'm trying to learn something. I'm trying to teach the next generation. Where's the goddamn books? Your ass is in jail. I need some goddamn knowledge. And they all have in common, except for one, that none of them wrote books. You look at Malcolm X, where's his book at? He had all this goddamn knowledge, his book ain't there. Martin Luther King, even though he be kissing ass, he's a whole pacifist, turn the other cheek, that's what he does. Martin Luther King, his goofy ass turns the other cheek. But he still was knowledgeable, where's his book at? He never wrote one. So that's what I discovered. I said, look, if we have all of this knowledge, the best way to teach it to the next generation, the best way to end the cycle is to write books. It is very important to write books. We need more books than this. This cannot be the only book. I plan on writing 20, 30, 40, 50 books. And not these big old thick manuscripts that nobody wants to read because those are boring. How many of y'all want to read a big ass manuscript, 500 pages? I have one. I'm going to show you a manuscript that I read. Let me show you. I have 1,000-page books that I have read. Here's one. Big old book. Thick manuscript. Who the hell wants to read this? Big ass shit. This shit is big as hell. Who wants to read this? I read this shit twice. I also have other books, 600 pages apiece. I've read them. I'm in college. I'm over here just reading books. Who wants to read a big ass manuscript? That's too much. Where's the images at? I ain't see no goddamn image. I just see words. Who wants to read this? So, one of our teachers, his name is Dr. Malachi York, he did create manuscripts, and I'm like, this shit's big as hell. Like, we need to simplify it, and how can the children learn? Because that's what it's all about. The children are the future. They are the youth. Who's going to create books for them? And that's what I, Tassim Deliza, has done. I have created books for our future generations, for our children, because I said I'm tired of them being lied to. Like I was lied to. When I was 9 years old, my mom, we lived in Georgia, but I remember she had me staying with my grandparents. All of my siblings, we stayed with them. I went to elementary school in Georgia. This was in a little small town called Rennes. And then I remember my mom, she came and all of us were excited. We were like, Mommy! I know I was excited. I'm looking through the garage and I see my mom. And she took us all to California. California. And I'm thinking that life was going to be good. It was going to be amazing. But she took us to this city called Lamont, California. Now, ain't nobody ever heard of this before. Like, what the hell is a Lamont, California? This city was filled with Mexicans. I just came from an all-black area with just nothing but Anunnaki. I saw my Tamerican people. And she moved us to Lamont, California. I'm like, what the hell is this? This is a whole change of everything. And we lived in this little apartment. About 3 bedrooms. My sisters had the room, their own room, and then me and my brothers, we all had our room, and then my mom, she had her room. And I remember going to school. And in this school, it was just all Mexicans. The only Anunnaki in the whole school is just me and my little brother. It's in a whole elementary school called Lamont Elementary. I'm in the 4th grade, so I'm 9 years old. And as I went to school, this is about a couple of weeks in, there was a Mexican. He didn't like Anunnaki. He didn't like black people. And he looked at me. I'm 9 years old. He's 10 years old. He's in the 5th grade. And I remember he was down the hallway. He said, hey, you. I'm like, this motherfucker looking at me? What are you looking at him? Well, we're minding my business. He said, yeah. He said, yeah, your family was African slaves. I said, what? He said, yeah, your family, they come from Africa. They're slaves. I said, what the hell is a slave? I'm just thinking to myself, what is a slave? And there were two of my classmates next to me. They were also Mexican. And they said, Tassim, did you hear that? I said, no, I don't know what a slave is. I didn't hear it. They said, he said that your family are slaves from Africa. And I didn't know what that meant. So after the school ended, I went home and we would take the bus or we would either walk home. But I went home and took the bus. I came back home, walked into the house, and I remember seeing my mom there, and I asked her, I said, Mommy, I'm in this new school, and they called me something at school. Mommy, they said that I was an African slave. And then they hit her. Who called you an African slave? I said, they called me that at the school. My question is, why does a parent have to go through that? Do you want your children to be called African slaves? Is that what you want? Do you want your sons and daughters to be called African slaves by some motherfucking Mexicans? Because that's what they call me? Is that what you want? Or do you want something different? Do you want some change? Do you want your children to have to go through that day after day after day, African slaves? Because that's how the whole world looks at them. Go ask anybody, it doesn't matter where they're from. They're going to look at your children as an African-ass slave. And my question to you, when are you going to put an end to that? Are you sick and tired of that yet? Because they don't just look at your children as that. They also look at you as an African slave. The whole world. It doesn't matter what language they speak, because I spent time in Mexico. I lived in Mexico. Thank you. I lived in Mexico. This was in a city called Veracruz. All Mexicans. Nobody spoke English at all. Everybody spoke Spanish. And I remember when I hopped off because they had to take the metro, so when I hopped off the bus, I had to get a taxi because they didn't have any Ubers. And once I hopped into the taxi, there was a Mexican taxi driver, and he looked at me. He said, "Oh, negro." I'm looking at this motherfucker like, who the fuck did you call it a negro? Is you crazy? No hay problema. He said, ¿De dónde eres? That means, where are you from? I said, I'm from, but I had to say this in Spanish. I said, soy de Estados Unidos, Atlanta. I said, I'm from the United States, Atlanta. He said, ¿En serio? He means, are you serious? I'm like, sí, soy serio. I'm serious. He said, Africa? I said, motherfucker, what? I had to say it in Spanish. I said, I ain't say I'm from no goddamn Africa. He said, ¿Estás seguro que eres de Estados Unidos? He said, you sure that you're from United States? Africa? No. And my question is, why the hell does the whole world, it don't matter if they speak Spanish or not, they automatically think that you come from Africa. Why is that? It doesn't matter. There is no language barrier. They could speak German, Spanish, Portuguese. That shit don't goddamn matter. They automatically put you in a category of Africa. Automatically. When are we going to put an end to that? Because you and I both know that you are not from Africa. When are we going to put an end to that? That's all I'm asking. Are you sick and tired yet? Are you? Because I am. And if you are, then we have a solution. Okay? This country that we live in was never called the United States. Ever. It was never called the United States. That's what they called it when they took over. And I'll explain it to you exactly how they did it. They took over our kingdom. It was called the Kingdom of Tameri. And let me show you how they did it. This entire country just had nothing but our people. Just nothing but Tamericans. That was it. You look to the left, you saw a Tamerican. Look to the right, you see a Tamerican. You didn't see nobody else but just Tamericans. That was it. You just saw our people. The black people. That was it. You didn't see nobody else. But there was a time where there was a species They arrived on our planet. It's crazy. We all do not come from Africa. That shit is crazy. But I'll explain it to you. And it says it in our textbook on day 11. This is why I said we're going to be reading these together as a class. This right here, it says day 11. And it talks about the kingdom of Tameri. And I'll explain it. I'll just sum it up for you real quick. We will be reading these in future classes. But this is exactly what happened. You see, every black person that lives on our planet is known as the same species. And that species is called the Anunnaki species. I don't know why I'm stuttering, so I'm going to say it again. Every single person that originally lived on this planet is all the same species. This goes for everybody with brown skin complexions like me and you. And we are known as the Anunnaki species. That is who we are. And it says that in the first page of our textbook. Right here. It says you are the Anunnaki species. Who these people look like? Their skin color is brown. They also have afros. They have locks. Who they look like? Don't they look like you and me? These are our ancestors. These are the creators of the multiverse. And they are also the creators of this planet that we live on. The Anunnaki. So this planet just had nothing but Anunnaki. Because before there was a planet, there was nothing. It was just empty space. So a couple of us came over here. We constructed the planet. And then 144,000 of us flew down. That is our origin story. 144,000 of us flew down. And there was 4 groups of us. One group, we went to the west. Another group went to the southwest. Another group went to the east. And then another group went to the southeast. So I'll explain it. One group went to the west, and we all created Tameri. It is in this book. We created Tameri. The Anunnaki. We existed before the planet came into existence. We are actually older than the planet. And we named the planet after ourselves. This is called Planet Key, meaning the second headquarters of the Anunnaki. And that's what we did. So one group of us, we went to the west and we created Tameri. Another group of us, we went to the southwest, which is in modern day South America. We created Amaru. Another group of us went way to the east, way over there, far east. That's where in modern day Eurasia is located, or modern day Russia, China, over there. They created the empire of Tartaria at the far east. And then there was another group who they all went southeast, and they created the kingdom of Ashanti. Many kingdoms existed on our planet, but we created these kingdoms. And for us, the ones who live in Tameri, this is what we created. The idea of us all originating out of Africa from some motherfucking dirt is a lie. We are older than the planet, and we are the planet's creators. And that's what I teach in this textbook. This is what they won't teach you, so I have to teach you this. My Anunnaki, thank you. I have to teach you this. We existed before the planet, and then we created the planet after ourselves. We called it Planet Key, second home planet of the Anunnaki race. This is our planet. We created it. And none of us came out no motherfucking dirt. We all existed before the planet existed, and then we descended down. That is our origin. So the ones who live in Tameri, it says it right here in the textbook. It says on Planet Key, the Anunnaki created many kingdoms. And each kingdom had its own food, music, entertainment, and its own culture. That's what we had. It said the first kingdom that we will now talk about is the kingdom that I, Tassim Deliza, the author, descend from. And that kingdom is called the kingdom of Tameri. That's where we come from. Tameri. The kingdom. Not no goddamn country. The kingdom. So when they talk about that there's a kingdom in the damn sky in heaven, That shit don't exist. These motherfuckers have lied. They took away our kingdom that was right here. They renamed it. And then they renamed every kingdom on our planet. And they started calling them republics and countries. So now the only idea that we have for a kingdom is the kingdom of heaven. And that shit don't goddamn exist. It ain't never existed. We've all been striving to go to the motherfucking kingdom of heaven. But these white ass motherfuckers have been making their kingdom of heaven right here on top of our motherfucking land. And I have to use profanity because this is the only way to get the point across. They took our shit over. They took away the idea that we had kingdoms. And they put our kingdom in the sky. And many of our people, we just like, man, I'm trying to get to the kingdom. I'm gonna have some good acts my whole life. I'm gonna get to the kingdom. It doesn't exist. It never existed. When you leave this planet and you die, you leave your physical body, your soul has a choice. It says, I'm going to come back into a new body, or I'm going to go back to my main home planet. That's the two choices. You either come back here, or you go somewhere else. That's the reality. Thank you, thank you. I'm like, they're not going to teach us this in school, so right now, we in school right now to learn some truth. So the truth is, you as an Anunnaki can never die. You are immortal, and you have a soul. And your soul lives many, many lifetimes. Once you leave here, you either go somewhere else, or you come back. But that's the only option that you have. There is no invisible sky with the clouds and the pearly gates, and you're going to see Jesus. Let's say we all died, and we said, all right, look, I'm going to die, I'm going to go to the pearly gates with the golden streets. And I'm going to walk up those staircases. And maybe there was, a million stairs. And I'm just walking. I die. I'm just walking up the stairs. Walking. And I say, one day I'm going to meet Jesus Christ. So after walking all these millions and millions of steps, I get to these goddamn pearly gates that they was talking about. And I see these goddamn white people. Because they say everybody in heaven is white. So I see white ass goddamn Abraham and white Ezekiel and all these white people. And I ask them, I say, hey, I need to talk to Jesus. And they look at me like, hey, motherfucker, you ain't even at the gate shit. What the hell you need to talk to Jesus for? You see? I say, hey, let my ass in, man. I had some good ass acts. When I was down here on Planet Key, I behaved good. I was the best behaved. So let my ass in. You know what I'm saying? Fuck out my way, bitch. I'm coming up in this motherfucking heaven. So I come up in heaven. And I say, hey, I need to talk to Jesus. Because, he allowed my people to be some slaves. We was down here on Planet Kai. They was whooping our whole ass. Making us pick cotton and shit. We was whole slaves. I need to talk to his ass. Hey, he can't talk to you right now. He's busy. I'm like, busy doing what? We in heaven. What the hell is he busy doing? Well, he's over there. He's signing a couple autographs. I'm like, motherfucker, what? Signing autographs? What type of shit is that? We up in heaven. He's supposed to answer my request. Yeah, he's signing autographs for the Holy Bible. So this motherfucker's a whole author now. Jesus Christ. That's what he's doing. He's signing your autographs. You get up into heaven. Hey, let me get your signature. Jesus Christ, please. Jesus, let me get your signature. He signed the back of the book. He signs it, puts his name on it, signs the book, and he hands it back to you. Hey, here's your Bible. Welcome to heaven. Do that shit make sense? Does it? Let me see. You're gonna have to turn around a whole million steps. Million steps to get to heaven. That's what they have sold to us. They sold us this idea that once we die, we go into the clouds. I done hopped on so many planes and I looked in the clouds and I didn't see no goddamn heaven. So where is this shit at? They said it was in the clouds. And I was in the clouds, I ain't see it there. So obviously, they're lying. So what is our reality? The reality is this. Once we created the planet, we created our own separate kingdoms. The place that is called Africa, that's what that group of Anunnaki, that's where they settled at. And I speak from experience because I spent time in Africa as well. In the process of writing this entire book, I went to Mexico and I went to Africa so I can stay there and I can see what it's like. So you do not come from Africa. That was that group of Anunnaki. They lived over there. They look a little bit different than us. They have a different bloodline. But we are all still the same species. So they lived over there, the black Europeans. They're called the Moors. They live in Spain, Italy, France. They also live in many parts of Europe. They also live in Ireland. Those are the black Europeans. They live over there. And the Tamericans, which is us, we live over here in Tameri. So this book, because we finna have some whole class, as we're reading the textbook, because we have to have our own classes, it says this in the next part. It says the kingdom of Tameri. It means the beloved land. That's what it means, the beloved land. That's the name that we gave it, Tameri. I didn't give it the name. We gave it the name. The beloved land, Tameri. The kingdom of Tameri. And it says its citizens were known as Tamericans. That is our nationality. We are the Tamerican people. It says all Tamericans were Anunnaki. As I've explained, you got the brown skin complexion. You are the Anunnaki. You're not a human that they taught you. The humans are the motherfuckers who were come out the caves. That's who the humans are. They have tails coming out their ass at birth. That's what a human is. Last time I checked, black people do not have tails coming out of their ass. We just don't have that shit. That's what they have. They're dirty as shit. Whole ass tail. Not the fucking same. The truth is, the humans are aliens. And I have to tell you that. They are not from this planet. They come from a planet called Nern, located inside of the Plutonian galaxy. They are aliens. And an alien means that you're not from here. That's all it means. And that's why you die from the sun. You motherfucking humans. It's facts. It's fact. We have to teach this. So it says this. There was a war that happened in Tameri. This war was against us. And then it says the humans and the Pleiadians. The humans, like I said, they are the beings who have tails coming out of their ass. They have pink skin and they die from the sun. They also have straight hair. That's what a human is. You are not a human, you are a Anunnaki. And it says the other teammate that they had was the Pleiadians. The Pleiadian is Donald Trump. This is why his skin is orange. It's not an accident. Just look at him. You look at the camera, you're looking, you're like, you might be wondering, you're watching the news and then you see this man and you're wondering, how come his skin color is different than everybody else? It doesn't make any sense. Is he putting on spray tan? Like, why the hell is his shit orange? That's his natural skin color. That is the Pleiadian race. They have orange skin and they're born with blonde hair. They come from the Pleiades star system. They're not from the Milky Way either, so they are also aliens. So that means Donald Trump and every other motherfucking Pleiadian is an alien. And the only non-aliens are your black people. The only non-aliens is us. That's it. Everybody else is a motherfucking alien. That's why they died from the sun. So it says this. Sadly, we lost this war. Yes, we did. We lost the war. That's what happened. We lost the war. It wasn't no gangsta-ass war. It wasn't no, we're going to let them know. None of that. It was, we accepted them because, black people are so welcoming. We really are. Every time we see somebody, we want to help them. So we gave, when these humans arrived on our planet, we started helping them. And it's crazy. A lot of our black people, we started allowing white people into our groups. We start giving them a voice. We allow the Mexicans into our goddamn groups. I don't know why we're like that. I'm not. I'm going to put an end to that. But we allowed them and we started accepting them. And what happened was we got betrayed. It wasn't no gangster war. It was a war that we got betrayed in. So once they came to our planet, we started teaching them. They started studying under us and they said, look, we're going to learn and become their best students. And they did. We showed them how to create their own countries. Because we started giving them land for free. They did the same thing over here. What we did over here, we also did in South Africa. We started giving these goddamn cavemen, we started giving them land. And they said, oh, thank you. We started teaching them how to dress and stand upright. That's what we taught them. We taught them that. So after teaching them this, they said, look, we want to thank all of you Anunnaki across the planet. But especially to you Tamericans, we really want to thank you all. And we're going to do it by throwing you guys a celebration. We will call it a feast. So they started sending letters out to all of the Anunnaki, a lot of the kings, and I was one of the kings, and they sent letters out to us. And we received the letter in the mail. We also had mail at that time. And when I read this letter and I opened it and I see it, and it said this. It said, we humans want to thank you for allowing us to stay on your planet. We want to thank you for the land that you have given us. And to show our gratitude to you all, we want to throw you a feast. And a few of us, we accepted the invitation and we showed up to their feast. Inside the letter, they told us that there was going to be food already made and prepared and ready. So when I got there and I'm there with my wife, I see my other Tamericans, they're already there. I thought I was the early one there. I wasn't, obviously. They was earlier than me. But when I got there, I'm like, look, hold up, there's one thing, there's a problem. You promised me that the food was going to be ready. Why is it not ready? They said, sir, we apologize. We apologize, King. We will get the food ready as soon as possible. I said, please, me and my wife, we're hungry. So, yeah. 1 second. Okay, so, once we arrived there, let me see, 1 second. What is going on? Do I gotta come? 1 second, I'll be right back. Yes. Go ahead. No, I was live streaming. You're doing good. Right now? You want to right now? Okay. Can I finish it? Woo! All right, we made it back. Woo! Okay. Dang, she was calling me. I'll be right. Okay, that's crazy. Okay. Is we here? I believe we're here. Okay. So, in this story, like I said, I arrived there and the food wasn't ready. I'm a little bit upset. I'm like, you promised me the food was going to be ready. They said, look, I'm sorry, King, the food is not ready, but we promise you we will get the food ready as soon as possible. And I said, okay. Okay. So, 10 minutes goes by, and I'm sitting at the table. My stomach's growling, and I'm sitting there next to my wife, and I said, look, come on, man, it don't take this damn long. You already promised me the food's going to be ready? Why is it not ready? My other Anunnaki, they just over there in the corner doing whatever they're doing. My Tamericans, they're doing what they're doing. We had other kings that were there. And then 20 minutes goes by. And I'm a little bit agitated. I'm like, look, why is the food not goddamn ready? My wife is saying, look, Tassim, we are their guests. I need you to stop throwing a fit. Be respectful. And I said, okay, look, I will respect you. You are my wife. I will listen to you. I will respect you. And then 30 minutes goes by. And I'm like, ain't no goddamn way. They said the food was going to be ready. Why the hell is this shit not ready? My wife said, look, go to the bathroom. The time will go by faster. Go to the bathroom. So I said, okay. I went to the bathroom. Went to the bathroom. I'm spending a long time in there. I'm washing my hands. Everything. I'm just trying to kill time. And then 40 minutes goes by. I come out the bathroom. And I'm expecting that the food is going to be on the table. But guess what I saw? I saw nothing. There was no food. It was nothing. And I'm really mad. I'm like, God damn, the food is supposed to be ready. And then 50 minutes goes by. I had to go ask somebody. I said, hey, look, 50 minutes goes by. You already promised me the food was going to be ready. Ain't no goddamn food ready. Do I need to go back there? Should I just leave? Go get some food somewhere else? They said, sir, we are trying our best. I promise you, the food is going to get ready. It's going to be ready. And then 60 minutes goes by. And I'm sitting there waiting at the table, and all I hear is a gunshot. Cloud. And I'm looking around, I'm like, I hear a gunshot. What's going on? Somebody's shooting. And before I could react, all I see is bullets shooting to the walls. They're shooting through the walls, and they're shooting all of the Tamericans. They're just shooting us. These are the leaders. And I see my people flying. I see them dropping to the ground. And then they hit my wife. And I go crazy, and then I get shot. And they hit me, and then I hit the ground. And then my people are dead. And all I could think about is, this was a setup. How could we have gotten betrayed? How could we have fallen for this? This has never happened to us because we don't lie to each other. And then one of the humans walks up to me. Actually, it was one of the Pleiadians. They walk up to me because they were both in on this. And they look at me, and they have their gun, and then they shoot me. And right there, before I hear it, I hear one thing that they say. They said, we are going to take over their kingdom, and we are going to rename it. And this will be the legacy that we will leave our children. And that's what they did. They took over our kingdom, and they renamed it to the United States. And because they renamed it, none of us Tamericans have known our nationality until now. That is why I have created a physical book to teach us who we are. The Tamericans. And we are going to have to take our kingdom back. And whatever they did to us, they are going to have to get it sent back to them times 10. Whatever you sow, so shall you reap. And people like me and a lot of our people, all we have done, like I say, once you die, you don't go to heaven. Once you die, you come back. A lot of us are reincarnated ancestors, here to live another life, to get revenge, and to take our kingdom back. That is our assignment. That's why we're here. We're not here for nothing else. We are here to take back the kingdom of Tameri. And for all these motherfucking Native Americans, they're in on it. They are on the same side as the motherfucking Pleiadians. This is not their land, it's our land. But they have been lying to us. And some of us, not many, but some of us have believed their goofy ass. And we will not believe them anymore. I appreciate you. We will not believe them anymore. So, that is what happened in Tameri. And to round this all up, just the end of the text, it says this. It says, then Tameri was renamed to the United States of America. And today, we Tamericans must finish the war and take Tameri back. And that's why we're here. When you have physical books, it unlocks your memories of who you are and what you have lived in your past lifetime. This is why they have banned books, because they are afraid of us to unlock our memories that we have once had. That's why you get books, because they unlock your memories. You will remember the previous lifetimes that you had and what they did and how they killed you, and that you need to get your motherfucking revenge. And you ain't no goddamn African. You are a Tamerican. And that's why I need every single one of you to get this book. If you are tired of being called an African American or an African in general, you get this textbook called This Planet Was Stolen from Black People. You can find it on my website called thisplanetwasstolen.com. It is very inexpensive. It is a textbook with multiple choice questions. Later on in the class, we're going to be reading the multiple choice questions. That's what we have. Multiple choice questions, A, B, C, and D. We will have that. So I appreciate you all. Look, I'm going to end this stream. We will have more. We will have more lectures to teach our people. I appreciate you all. We will be taking our kingdom of Tameri back. We will be having our own Tamerican flag. We will. Our own flag. And they can kiss our ass. There's nothing that they can do to stop us. We are here to create the new books for the next generation because it is up to the youth to take the kingdom of Tameri back. It is up to us. So I appreciate you all. And I'm going to end this stream here. All right? Peace, my Anunnaki. My Tamericans. Peace.